Hey, it's Dr. Quartell, and we're back at it again with another golden nugget of health. And this time, I'm going to talk to you specifically about something that happened to me, my own personal health, my own personal experience with a fairly major injury. And, major because it affects me, it's a big deal. So picture this. I'm in the middle of my garage. I'm cleaning up. I'm feeling good, healthy, strong. Everything's doing really well. And then, bam, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm cleaning, I'm moving a thing across the counter, and a 15-pound kettlebell ball slips and drops right onto my bare foot. So 15 pounds of steel drops right onto my bare foot, and I broke my foot, specifically the first metatarsal. I wasn't doing anything heroic. It wasn't some sort of epic athletic moment. Everybody's telling me, oh, make up some sort of story. You were defending, whatever it was. I was just cleaning the garage and I knocked it off of the shelf, and immediately my day changed. And most of us can understand how broken bones happen if there's a big accident, a major trauma, fall down a flight of stairs, a car crash, some extreme sport. But when we talk about breaking bones, physics really tells the whole story. Physics doesn't ask what you're doing, it just looks at the forces. It doesn't care about intention, just looks at how things happen. And instantaneously, I knew something was wrong. I looked down, the foot was white, sort of started swelling up. And right now I'm going to tell you about what happened. It's not a miracle healing tale. There's no medical advice. This is just my case report of what happened over the next 17 days after the fracture, what the x-rays show, and why me at 55 years old, how I moved forward in the best halfway of recovery without any sort of height, or any sort of story. Just this is what happened. So the bone that was broken was the first metatarsal. It's a very thick, strong bone in the foot. It's built to big punishment. It's what you toe off when you're walking. It's the one right behind the big toe, right in the middle of the foot. And this time, physics outclassed the bone, and boom. So I got in the car. My wife drove me. We came to the office. We took an x-ray, and I confirmed it was a clean distal fracture of the first metatarsal. No shifting in alignment. The bones were in alignment. They didn't have to set it. No surgery was required. So this is what I didn't do. I didn't cast it. I didn't have surgery. And I just didn't sit on the couch for 3 weeks feeling sorry for myself, right? I got back to work. I mean, I'm engaging in recovery, and I'll tell you about that. But right away, put on a walking boot to control weight bearing, to control ankle movement so I wouldn't dislodge it. And I also modified how I moved. I used a knee scooter. If I was taking any longer distances of walking, I would use a cane to assist in my gait. But I also kept working full time in the office as a chiropractor because life doesn't hit pause for a broken bone. Now, I did change my activity levels a little bit, so I adapted. But I didn't pause. Imagine if you were a farmer in the 1800s during the harvest season, or if you were a soldier in World War II in your foxhole. You have to adapt. You just, oh, Sergeant, I'm gonna sit this one out. I broke it. No, like people coming at you, you have to go. So, also I took a set of serial x-rays, MB 0, 3, 8, 13, and 17, so I could track the progress, make sure the bone wasn't shifting while I was moving, and doing things. And by day 17, things really looked unusually good. And again, if you're watching this on video, I'll show you the evidence of how things happened. But if you're listening, I'll describe it a little bit. But by day 17, I was pain-free putting weight on a flat foot. I had painless ankle motion. I had painless big toe motion. I'll share the videos here for you as well. There was no swelling anymore. The alignment of the bone was still relatively perfect. And the x-ray was showing the fracture line was already beginning to thin, and the bone was remodeling and reorganizing around the fracture for healing. And this combo, this is not typical. This is not normal, especially for somebody the age of 55. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this like, oh, look at me. I'm just saying that these are the things that I do in my life to try to maximize healing. And here's a really good firsthand experience, because at 55 years old, this isn't typical healing, and it gives me an opportunity to demonstrate, hey, like I'm doing all these interventions. What happens when there's an injury? Because at this point, 17 days, you'd still expect painful weight bearing. There's still a lot of tenderness right over the fracture site. the big toe, the toe movement would still be very stiff and painful because when you move the toe, it pulls directly across that braid. There should be a significant amount of lingering swelling. There should also be a sharp, clear fracture line on the x-ray. And this is just a case report of how my healing went and the interventions that I do with my life and my health. Because we should have the ability, if you work on the body, we should have the ability to maintain healing if we maintain our health well into later, later years, right? And this stood out without exaggeration because it's not just one thing that I did. It's not one intervention that I did. It's kind of everything put together. Things are healing at an accelerated pace. So how did this happen? Why do I get an accelerated pace of healing and where I'm at? Especially with the x-rays showing organized change. So something is working really, really well. And this isn't just feeling better, because I said, I really wanted to have that. I'm going to take some Advil to feel better. As a matter of fact, I didn't take any pain relievers, no Advil, no Tylenol, no Oxycontin, no, Vicodin, nothing like that. But I did use a number of very specific interventions to help speed up recovery. And, we'll talk about that results. Well, first off, we didn't modify my activity. No stressing on the joint. I was careful how I moved it. That was, wearing a boot, but I didn't just wear the boot and hope for the best. I started off, with relatively good physical fitness and metabolic health and working out all the time, lifting weights, putting my bones under load to make sure they're strong. And I also used pulse PEMF. It's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy for 14 out of the first 17 days. I applied it directly over the fracture. The pulse PEMF works by using the electromagnetic pulse to basically wake up the bone building cells, the osteoblast cells at the fracture site. What the pulse PEMF does, it increases calcium uptake, it improves blood flow to the area, and it helps the cells produce more energy so that there's a greater ability to heal and repair and do their work. For bone fracture, it is an FDA-approved device for non-union fractures that won't heal on their own. But I said, look, let's get started right away. Why wait, 8 months, see if it doesn't heal? I'm going to start 8 minutes in. And the real mechanism of how it works, it's not pseudoscience, it's an FDA-approved device that's been used for decades. I also used BPC 157. I took a total of 6 doses of 500 micrograms each, 2 oral, 4 injectable over that time. And I'm not saying that these caused faster healing because this is a case where it's an individual N of 1 observation. It's not a controlled study. I don't have, several hundred people, involved. And as a matter of fact, there aren't really any randomized controlled studies with hundreds of people looking at how fracture progression heals over several days and weeks. But when you see this kind of functional recovery, minimal inflammation, and early radiographic changes, X-ray changes, it makes a difference. And the PEMF, and my health going into it, and the BPC 157, I think these are all very effective ways to have, an increased speed of health and recovery in the bone. And I encourage you to look at using those as well. I do have a pulse PMF machine at my disposal, so I was able to use that every single day. I'm starting with some interferential current now to maximize some healing, a little bit of laser on there as well. I'm walking relatively pain-free at this point when I'm in the boot. Even outside of the boot, it's pain-free to walk. I'm walking around in barefoot, quite a bit. I'm not toeing off, right? I'm barefoot walking around the house and, not really so much in the office or around side, but I'm able to really start engaging at base 17. And I'm definitely ahead of expected healing at this injury stage, for my age. And that's exactly why I'm documenting this. I'm not trying to sell you something, take this pill, eat this, do that. I'm not claiming to crack some sort of code for health and healing. These are things that are well known, but it's my ability to demonstrate what happened to me. And I'm using this as a spotlight to really shine on how the body's natural healing power will occur if you eat it as much as you can and be as healthy as you can going in. Now we're, probably looking at about 6 weeks before that the full exercise on it, and about another 12 weeks before really loading it. At this point, figuring out why some cases heal well, that's where, helping you to tap into your own repair potential, me tapping into my own repair potential. And that's why I'm documenting this. So once again, Dr. Quartell, thanks for tuning in. If you want to get in touch with us, please reach out through social media, send us an email, quartellchiropractic@gmail.com. You can give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have some ideas for future shows, let me know. And if you know somebody who can benefit from this information, please share it and pay it forward. Have a great one. Just starting off 2026. Hope yours is more successful than any year yet.